Hello and welcome back to another Talking Freight, brought to you by Cerasis, the transportation management company. Today we're back with our Final Mile series, moving from what we gave you last week by stating what is Final Mile logistics, turning this week to more action, developing a strategy. We all need a great plan to succeed, and we're here to give you one. Understanding Final Mile logistics is only really half the battle. Shippers need to reevaluate their existing Final Mile logistics processes and devise an effective Final Mile logistics strategy that aligns consumer and business expectation. This is the only way shippers can safeguard their position in the market and continue to provide products to their consumer base. In fact, an effective last mile logistics strategy must consider these 9 key points. So let's talk Final Mile logistics strategy. Key point 1, planning is essential to have an effective Final Mile logistics strategy. Any effective strategy must begin with effective planning. Shippers must evaluate current Final Mile logistics strategy processes and create plans for managing the creation or adoption of an effective Final Mile logistics strategy. This includes prioritizing, planning, and establishing standard operating procedures for managing Final Mile. Key point number 2, leverage the right technology as part of your strategy. One of the first problems with creating a Final Mile logistics strategy is cost. Final Mile logistics is seen as the least efficient leg of shipping, and it accounts for almost 30% of the total shipping cost of a product. Final Mile delays and problems during delivery can eat away at fuel cost and seriously devalue a brand. But shippers can leverage technology to make small changes and improvements to Final Mile logistics processes. Shippers considering implementing or upgrading technology to meet Final Mile logistics demands should also consider ease and speed of implementation prior to making any such decisions. E-commerce markets move at the speed of light, and unnecessary delays could result in customer losses. Key point number 3, analyze everything. Nothing should be off the table when considering an effective Final Mile strategy and implementation. Shippers should analyze everything from the biggest to the smallest possible influences. Key point number 4, manage the whole Final Mile delivery process. Shippers must manage the whole Final Mile delivery process for effective Final Mile logistics. This includes thinking about the driver, the shipment, the trucks, and the technologies used to track such shipments, as well as what online platforms and consumer devices are used. Obviously, shippers cannot track what consumers use for their personal devices all the time, but they can use metrics to track what consumers are doing on their respective e-commerce websites. Key point number 5, be consumer-centric. An effective last mile logistics strategy must be focused on consumer needs. This is the cornerstone of all modern logistics strategies, regardless of whether it is direct-to-consumer or business-to-business sales. Key point number 6, think outside the box. Traditional standards of delivery do not work effectively in modern last-mile logistics strategies. Companies must think of unconventional solutions to meet final-mile delivery demands. App-based last-mile providers are disruptors, but they can enable shippers to meet consumers' growing demands for faster, tighter delivery windows. And in fact, Cerasis can be considered one of these disruptors with our very own Final Mile logistics solution that we've now embedded in our Cerasis Radar. I'll make sure I put a link to get a demo of that product in this video. Key point number 7, measure performance. Amazon sets industry standards for final mile delivery, and the e-commerce giant's free shipping services, otherwise known as Amazon Prime, highlights why shippers must measure performance. With up to 6% of consumers in the US willing to pay for same-day delivery and 28% of consumers are willing to abandon shopping carts due to excessive fees, shippers cannot afford to forego measuring performance. Performance measurement goes back to cutting costs wherever possible without sacrificing quality or service. Key point number 8, manage returns thoroughly and effectively. Managing returns and reversal logistics are another consideration in creating an effective final mile logistics strategy. retailer differences in SKUs, and returns options for both e-commerce and brick-and-mortar store purchases can complicate the issue. As a result, shippers should consider the form, function, and placement of inventory, including inventory coming in from reverse logistics channels in their entire warehousing and distribution network. This will ensure the company has a product, even if it is refurbished or returned, available to the nearest consumer. Key point number 9, location, location, location. One of the final considerations of final mile logistics strategies goes back to how quickly a product can be mobilized and delivered. It goes back to the location of the product and the location of the consumer. Shippers must create robust last mile logistics strategies that shrink the distance between warehouse and consumer. This might include using a store as a distribution center. Ultimately, shippers that reduce this distance as much as possible and through as many means as possible will be able to create a tighter, more effective final mile logistics strategy. Well, that's it for this week's Talking Freight. Thanks for joining us for another episode. Hold up before you go. Check out all the videos in our TMS series by clicking here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking here. And check out Cerasis.com by clicking right above my head.